Robert.
Yo, what's shaking AC?
Okay, I'm gonna. On delay. Okay, here's the problem. I've been talking a lot today and this whole week, actually. It's exciting. Roundtables are back in full swing. There's been 3 in the last 2 days. So that's a lot. And then lots of exciting calls. We're talking to a lot of people. I think when the new year hits, everybody just came in with this fresh new energy. It's 2021. Everything's going to be better. So they're like, let's go talk to some people to get help with our franchise, all this stuff, which is super exciting and fun. So anyway, my brain is a little bit iffy right now, let's just say.
Yep.
And my speaking, as you heard a minute ago.
Listen, that's okay. I have days like that too. Sometimes
okay.
Yeah, I just speak and ramble and ramble, whatever. It's one of my core values.
Okay, speaking of that, I think it'd be fun. I really loved the roundtable today where we had the topic core values. I mean, obviously, I'm the one going, I want to talk about core values. Let's chat about that a little bit about the takeaways and things. I said this at the roundtable, and I say this all the time, that people, I find if they don't have core values that they live and breathe, it's usually because they either think that taking the time to create core values is a waste because they're just fluff. And there's so much more important things to do, like focus on profit and loss statements and technical data and technical this and that, right? Or they just are sort of stumped and they don't know, like, I'm lost. I don't know what my core values are or how I figure that out or whatever. So those are the reasons. The other kind of sub thing is that sometimes they have them, but they're either not right, like they're actually not right, or nobody's living and breathing them. So those are kind of the roadblocks and things I see when it comes to core values. And I love opening up the conversation in groups, because usually by the end of it, everybody's kind of like, yes, and feeling like it makes sense. It's worth taking the time and it's worth figuring out. So that was the goal today. I'm curious what stood out for you in the roundtable. Like,
I mean,
if you don't mind, I'm just going to eat some cucumbers here while you tell me the answer.
Some cucumber, yeah. You know what? I core values are so important, and just like you said, I think so often they get written off like there's something fluffy. But there's a lot of takeaways I took from the roundtables today. In my opinion, or at least from what I've learned, is when designing your core values, regardless whether it's following some process in a book or something with a coach or whatever, you have to remove reason and logic out of the equation and do it more based on intuition. You know what I mean? Like,
you're right.
If you're trying to decide core values around some sort of framework that has measurable output, you're going to be going down this rabbit hole of basically creating a KPI metric or spreadsheet. You're not creating core value. Okay, time out.
Yeah, I love where you're going with that. Like, what I just want to throw in a word that I heard at a roundtable. Like, if it's like aspirational, like that's not the point. Like, you're not creating what you're trying to be.
Yeah.
You gotta just figure out the wording for what you actually are, right? Like, so that's the intuition piece. Am I kind of saying the right thing on what's on, like what you're saying? Are we saying the same?
Yeah, I think we're saying the same thing. And you know what? Another thing that came to me during these roundtables, and I don't know if I heard it on the roundtables or maybe it just came to me.
In a dream?
Maybe it was in a dream. But I feel like it's
You're dreaming about core values? Sorry, I told you I'm off today. My brain isn't good.
I dream about Excel spreadsheets. Like I'm trapped inside the cell and it's got to move around.
In your dream?
Yep.
That's not
I wake up so exhausted. Okay.
Okay, my apologies.
I feel like this may be revolutionary, but I wonder how many people, when deciding their core values, consider how this permeates through to the end customer. Right? If you think, What are Robert's core values? What are Bob's? What are Greg's? What are, like, people can list people's core values by how they act, or hers must be something to do with fun. Hers must be something to do with authenticity, because that's how you act. So when you're deciding your company core values, consider to yourself, or at least this is what I'm considering, is this something amongst your management team that you want them to have to lead properly? Is this something that you want your franchisees to have to make sure they're a fit? Is this something you want their employees to have to buy into the Kool-Aid? Or is this something that you expect to permeate all the way through to the end customer, so they understand what sort of business they're shopping at? And I think especially now with Generation Z or Z, depending which country you're coming from, and their mindset as to how they make shopping decisions are very different than the millennials. That's super important to make sure it permeates through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you say, yeah, it permeates through it. What it really is, and I think this is kind of what you're saying too, it's like, it's the foundation of the company, or the fundamentals, or the things that make that company successful, and who, not just successful, but who it is, like, who is the company. And this is something that I see so many businesses that they don't understand. Nobody's really helped them see the value of it, of getting clear on that stuff, and including mission too. Like, what is the mission of the company, or purpose, or why? So that was something, like, I really thought the roundtable today in particular about core values with wide range of stages of franchisors and different industries and stuff. I thought it was really cool to hear so many people validate the fact that they do have core values. They know them and they live by them, and they use them when they're recruiting franchisees. They use them when they're doing job interviews. When they're in their branding, it comes out.
Yeah, and it almost has to be kind of neutral in terms of where it applies, or more universal. So if your core value is great customer service, let's say the CEO and the COO are talking. How do they exemplify great customer service in a conversation that's unrelated to a customer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your mission is great customer service, or your guarantee, and you achieve that great customer service through these core values, almost like traits rather than skills, maybe, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
But you've got to think about where this applies.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, and then that who you put yourself out there through your core values as is what really creates the brand. So I'm just going to use, because I know our core values really well. Everything is figure outable, or we get more done when we're having fun. That has become the foundation of the AC Inc. brand, and the people that we attract have to be, whether they're employees, vendors, clients. If they're not fun, it's not going to work. Like, we just know that we need to be authentic about that, and some other things as well. But, like, that's going to enable us. And I don't want to attract people that don't want to have fun. So I'm okay with divide the room marketing.
Yep.
Or I guess marketing is not the right word there, but divide the room stance on who we are.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, you know what, being on these roundtables and seeing a lot of very great franchisors, and I say great intentionally, because in my opinion, there's a difference between good and great. Great franchisors that have fantastic systems and great franchisees and service their customer base. One common thread, I mean, there's many common threads that I see between them, but one is they don't treat core values as something that you design out because it's part of an exercise and then you put it away into a drawer. It is something you live and reiterate without reservation and with, like, extreme prejudice, that this is what we are like, over and over. And that provides such a massive impact, even outside of franchising, on business, on day-to-day life. Even think about some thought leaders like, Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, Lewis Howes, Marie Forleo. They all are just so binary with their core values.
Yeah. And I just truly believe the companies that do well, I see it. I mean, the companies that are doing well, like you could hear it on the roundtable today, that the companies that are doing well, they're actually using their core values and living and breathing them. So.
I just had a Clubhouse going off.
Oh. All right. Well, that was our rant last week. So if you guys are not sure what we're talking about there, just go check out last week. But I think it's time to wrap this puppy up.
Wrap it up.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Go be awesome.
Awesome.